Hey folks, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be doing another cool build. This one's going to be some copper Damascus. We're going to start from 1084, 15N20 steel. We'll use some 1095 core and of course some copper to produce this black tip tanto. But this one is going to have a special process at the end where we're going to turn the copper bright red. Stay tuned, folks. We're going to start by stacking up the Damascus, get it welded up, and get it in the forge. We're starting with a moderately sized stack because we are going to twist this, and you lose a lot of material when you twist. After 3 heats, I'm sure this is forge welded, and now I can start to compress it down. We need it in a long square bar so we can put it in the twisting machine. I've got 3/4 inch kiss blocks in here just so I can maintain a constant thickness all the way down the billet. I'm pretty much at my desired thickness here, so I switched to hitting the corners just to round out the center portion a little bit, and that'll help us from getting really stiff ridges when we twist it. Okay, here we go on the homemade twisting machine. If you're curious on how to build one of these, there's a link up in the corner. You can go build your own. Now that our billet's all twisted, we want to put it back in the press and flatten it out. We want to get it back to about 1.5 inches width. Here's our twist Damascus billet. I've already cut it into the 2 pieces that I need for the cladding. Now we're going to just grind off the outer layers. It's pretty thick. It's about 1/4 inch thick, so I need to grind about almost a 1/16 off each side. Then we'll be ready to stack it up with the copper. Alright, here's our 2 twist billets. Here's our 1095 on our copper. Now let's stack it up, weld up the edges, and get it back in the forge. I actually had this build screw up on me a couple of times. This is actually my 3rd attempt. After this, I installed my PID controlled forge, or my computer controlled forge, which helps a lot on the heat control. If you want to see that video, check up in the corner. I like to take my time drawing out these copper billets because they can be a little temperamental at times. Now it's time to hit it with the aggressive drawing dies to make sure you get some nice action in the copper. Somehow I managed to lose the footage of me profiling this knife, grinding the bevels, and the heat treat. So we're going to pick up from there. Here it is after heat treat. Pattern looks really cool on this one, so I'm happy about that. Came out nice and hard. Now let's do some final grinding. So I've got the knife sanded to 220, but I want to take a break here and I want to start on the handle material, and I'm going to show you why. So I'm going to get the handle material cut out of this X-Forge carbon fiber from my buddy Brian Cohn at B Cohn Knives. I'll put a link down in the bottom. I love, it's kind of like a variable pattern here, so it'll look pretty cool on this knife. Almost like a Damascus pattern inside of the carbon fiber. I'm going to be using a red liner, and stay tuned because hopefully we're going to match the copper with this red. For this construction, I'll be using Gulso bolts, which are removable screws that bolt the scales to the knife. So I'll be able to grind the outside of the knife and then remove the scales afterwards. So pretty handy. I decided for the profile of the handle, I keep it kind of angular instead of a smooth contour, just to kind of match the angles in the knife. If you've never hand sanded carbon fiber, you always kind of look like a coal miner after you're done here. Now I'm putting my maker's mark on the knife. We're getting ready for the final etch. Here's a blade after final hand sanding. It's sanded to 800 grit. I put the handle scales back on just to make sure that it was flush all around after hand sanding. Now it's time to get this thing in ferric chloride, coffee, and then we'll talk about the special finish at the end. So here's the knife after ferric chloride and a couple hours in coffee. It looks spectacular, and normally I would be totally thrilled and slap the handles on this and call it done. But we're going to try and do a different technique here, and this is from a smith called Dakota Wilson, who came up with this, what he calls his crimson patina. And how that's done is put this in the oven at between 300 and 325 degrees, and it will actually make the copper a red color. So that's what we're going to attempt. So into the oven this is going to go. So here's the blade after the crimson process. It went in the oven at about 305. I kind of left it in there for about 45 minutes. This was actually, I bet this was the 8th time I did this. I tried to do this after coffeeing the blade. It just would not take. I don't know, something about the coffee finish would not allow the red to come in. I tried just etching it. Like, it had to be after a fresh sanding in order for the red to appear. It is kind of cool. It does go with the red liners. It was cool to try it. I'm not sure I'm sold on it. I may just coffee it, but I'll give you guys the glamour shots of it so you can take a look and maybe you guys decide. Do you like the red, or do you prefer the coffee and the copper look? Take a look, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.